John Henry, the Changeover Wizard at Changeover.com with this month's Changeover tip from Frain Industries. When you come out of changeover and you're restarting the line, what happens? Ideally, the line should take off and run perfectly, what we call a vertical startup. Chances are that instead of a vertical startup, you have a fair amount of startup time where you have a lot of rejects and frequent stoppages for adjustment. Many plants can take 30 to 60 minutes or even more to get the line dialed in and running smoothly. Some plants will finish the production run before the line is ever running right. There's one reason for this startup time, and that's variability. The variability comes in two forms: variability of the changeovers and particular machine settings, and variability of product and materials. There may not be much you can do about the product and material variability other than to show how much downtime and money they're costing, but there's a lot you can do about changeover variability. Driving variability out of changeover requires good documentation and checklists, which I'll discuss in another video. It also requires that all settings be to a specific set point. Never say set the cap or chuck so it is close to the cap. Nobody will agree on what close means. Do say set the chuck to 1/8 inch clearance. When you say set it to 1/8 inch clearance, you need to provide the tools so that everyone can set it to the same point. There are a number of options depending on what is being measured. If there are only a few different settings, perhaps up to 6 or 8, the best way is color-coded stops. Once these are initially set, it's hard to misinterpret them. This is a revolving gauge. The rods or bolts are set to the desired set points and locked in place. During setup, the proper rod is rotated into position and the machine adjusted to it. Note the ID tags and the color codes. That helps you avoid making errors. The design with the bolts is easy to calibrate, but runs the risk that someone will adjust it later. Use plenty of Loctite once calibrated. This is a leaf or a jackknife gauge. It uses permanently mounted blades that swing into place during setup. Note both the color coding and the clear size markings. Fork gauges also work well when there are relatively few settings. They are similar to a scale and pointer, but less subject to interpretation error. Note the color coding and ID. Color codes should be the same throughout the line so that everything can be set to the same color. If fixed gauges can't be used, scales are a simple option. If using scales, use decimal scales. Doesn't matter whether they're inch or metric, since the number is only a reference rather than a measurement. But here you can see how much simpler the decimal scale is to read. The most important part of the scale setting, the pointer. The pointer on the left is good, but the slot allows it to be adjusted. Anything that can be adjusted will be, and will then be out of calibration. The pointers on the right are too far away from the scale to be read accurately. Magnifying pointers make the scale easy to read and eliminate parallax errors. Digital indicators work great on rotary adjustments. They can typically resolve each revolution of the shaft into 100 parts. They're available in mechanical models and digital models. The digital models allow a set point to be remotely programmed, and the red-green lights tell when it is properly set. They're also available for linear measurement, and even with built-in servo motors for fully automated setup. Vertical startups aren't rocket science. They do require attention to detail and the means to make every adjustment to a fixed, repeatable set point. Buying or renting packaging lines is not rocket science either. You just need one word: Frain. They'll take care of all your needs from initial concept to up and running. Rich Frain and I wrote the book on this. We know. I'm John Henry for Frain Industries, and I'll see you next month with another changeover tip. Thanks for watching.